Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I think it's incredibly important to ask great questions as a candidate. It is a strong differentiator. But most of my videos are around asking questions to your future potential boss or future potential teammates or recruiter or HR. But what if you're interviewing with your future boss's boss? Do you ask the same questions? Do they need to be different? Do they need to be more strategic in nature? In today's video, I answer that question and I give you 5 great questions that you can ask when you're interviewing with your future boss's boss. Let's go. Hi everybody, my name is Ben White with Ben Talks Talent. I've got 12 years experience in interviewing, hiring, and recruiting, and I'm passionate about using my experience to help you become the best candidate possible and land your next job. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about something really cool. Questions that separate you as a candidate when you're interviewing with your potential future boss's boss. But before we get into that topic, do me a favor. If you were new here, take 3 seconds, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss one of my videos that come out 3 or 4 weekly that are all free and designed to help you. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Now, the first question is really cool. I'm gonna tell you why I like it as soon as I tell you the question. And that question is, from your vantage point, what has been the most significant change you have seen in this department over the last 18 months, and how did it come about? Now, what I like about this question is it is very high level. If you're asking low level questions to this person, or very much so in the weeds questions, they might not have the answer. They don't see as much of the day to day. So asking a question like this allows them to flex their strategic muscles and talk a little bit about the history of the organization, the history of this department, how they've changed, how they've evolved, and what led to that change. I think it's one of those questions that makes you come across as someone who is highly researched, highly strategic, and interested in high-level thought, which is really important and can separate you as a candidate. I just think about this question. If I'm hiring someone and it's for somebody on my team's team, and I'm asked this question, it really allows me to look back on the last couple years of the department and what I've done, and strategically why I did that. So I think it separates you as a candidate from an information gathering perspective. It's also incredibly powerful. Think about it, if they come back with something really inspiring, that probably makes you more confident about the future of the department, right? But if they come back and go, I don't know, we haven't really changed anything in the last 18 months, well, that kind of leaves something to be desired, right? So this is a great question. Question 1, I definitely recommend asking this in your next interview. The next question is also a strategic question, and that question is, what are some of the challenges you can see this organization encountering, and how can this department contribute to dealing with those issues or helping facilitate success with those issues? However you want to end it, you get the idea. We're talking about future problems. What do you see down the road that could pose a threat to our organization and me, this department? If I come onto the team, how can we contribute to solving it? I love this because it gives you an idea of how forward thinking and strategic your boss's boss is. Is this someone who is playing chess, or are they out here playing checkers? So it gives you a great idea into how they think, what the what the potential hurdles are down the road, but then also it gives you an idea if they see you guys contributing to it. You as a candidate, right? If you join the team, if you join the company, do they think, hey, guess what? We can absolutely work together to solve issues, and I'm depending on the people who come into this department to help me solve big problems? Or do they go, I don't know, I don't know if you'd be really involved in any of the problems, and kind of brush it off? I think depending on how they answer this question, that would really impact how I felt about the organization and about how I felt as my one-over leader. Now, this next question is all about them, and if you're interviewing with someone, you should always have a question about them that allows them to wax poetic about their time with the organization. This is assuming they've been here for a little bit and they've had a few different spots in the organization, they've grown and been promoted. Because it's your boss's boss, I assume this is the case, but make sure you check on their LinkedIn before you phrase it like this. But that question is, you have had multiple seats in this organization. What keeps you here? This allows them to sell you on the organization. What's exciting about here? Why do they stay? Why should you come to this organization, and why should you stay for a while after joining? I think this is a great way to get them to open up and find out what it is that's been appealing about the organization so that you know, one, does that fit with your vision for the type of organization you want to join? But also, it gives you an idea of what's important to them, what's motivating to them, and allows you to connect and bond over a question that they're answering that is really relevant to you. Great question to ask. Now, this next question is very similar. It's got the same base question, but a different ending. But I really like it, and it might be a different way for you to gauge their thoughts on the organization, their thought on the role, and just them in general, what they find value and utility in doing. And that question is, you have been here for a while and you've held several different seats. Of all the seats you've held in the organization, which has been most gratifying for you? I think this is really interesting. This doesn't help you kind of understand your specific role, but it definitely helps you understand the organization. It helps you understand them as a person. And if you're gonna join this organization, you definitely want a relationship with this person. You wanna bond with this person, and you wanna understand what makes them tick. By asking questions like this, you get a little bit of a window into that. So I think it's a great question to ask in an interview. This next one's a really good differentiator, and I like asking it because I think it sets you apart, and it also gives you a different perspective of what makes a person qualified for the role. So the question is, what do you look for in candidates outside of traditional qualifications for roles like this? So what you're doing here is saying, okay, let's just assume all the candidates are equally qualified, which in many cases they are. So when that is the case, what do you look for in candidates? This is really great if you have upcoming interviews, right? Like if this isn't the last interview, if you have another interview coming up after this, hearing what they look for, hearing what has made people successful, hearing what they specifically seek out in candidates will allow you to emulate that behavior in subsequent interviews, which is an interviewing 202 strategy and definitely worth doing. But I think it's really interesting because what they say here could also inform you if you're a good match. What if they say, well, somebody who is exceptionally attentive to details? I know that wouldn't be me. So I might go, okay, well, I might not be exceptionally successful at this. Or what if they say someone who is willing to work really hard, above and beyond, long nights, weekends? What if that doesn't fit with your life right now in this season for you? Well, then you might want to look at that and go, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be good for me. Or they could say something that absolutely reinforces, this is a good spot for me and I am a great candidate for that role. Either way, I would want to know. So there you go. Those are the 5 questions. If you're interviewing with your potential future boss's boss, asking these 5 questions will make you come off as a great candidate who is very strategic in nature when it comes to how they think and how they go about engaging with other people, and it'll position you for success. Good luck in your next interview. You got this.